So it's a good exercise na rin to just go for it. Yo, what's up friends? Welcome back to this video. If you're new here, what's up? My name's Nicole. So I'm a fresh college graduate. I graduated last July, and like most fresh grads, I felt a bit lost and overwhelmed about what to do next. I decided to meet up with people and interview them to ask them for advice for someone like me. I interviewed 7 people in total, and I'll be uploading each of their interviews in this playlist that you can watch here. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Check this link for their exclusive offer to you guys. So this video is my interview with my friend Atom. I actually met him on the day I filmed this interview, and now he's one of my accountability buddies. He was someone a friend introduced me to, and he's a super cool person. Traveling is his thing. Right, so this is Atom.
Yes.
I met him today. You ready, Atom?
Ready, Nicole.
G. When did you graduate?
I graduated in 2020 when the pandemic hit. I graduated from IE, that's Industrial Engineering from UP Diliman. Now I'm working with Grocery, Customer Experience Product Associate.
That's your first job?
I first joined Grocery as an intern, and then I was lucky because halfway through my internship, they gave me a full-time position.
One of the biggest stressors for fresh grads is the job hunting process. It's super competitive these days, and getting rejected for the companies that you apply for can really affect your self-confidence. When I was a student, I really took the time to explore different industries and roles to help me get a better idea of what I wanted to do after I graduated, and also to help me gain experience so that I could eventually stand out as a job applicant. And so I did this by doing 6 internship programs. I've made videos where I talked about my internship programs before, but I would really encourage current students to do extracurriculars like doing org work or applying for internship programs so that you can better explore the roles you want to pursue after you graduate. There are limits din kasi to what you can learn in a classroom setting. And if you perform well and get lucky like Atom, you might even get absorbed and offered a full-time position. More or less related ba yung ginagawa mo? Like your course and then what you're doing now?
So actually that's the main motivation why I joined Grocery, because I wanted to apply what I learned. They gave me an internship, and the internship, my goal was to conduct a time study in one of their warehouses. So I was like, this is so cool. I had a project on this, like a school project. It was really exciting for me to apply that with an actual company. After my internship though, as soon as I got a full-time position, I've never gone into ops again. I went into field sales, marketing, customer experience, and customer support. Maybe it might be a full circle thing, because now I'm touching on warehouse operations again. It's been a nice journey. It's like a pseudo MT program.
That's cool. There's a lot of pressure imposed on us when we're young to immediately know and decide what we're gonna do for the rest of our lives. Like, grabe yung stress, yung constant asking of, what do you wanna be when you grow up? Anong plano mo sa buhay? Anong strand na kukunin mo? Anong course yung kukunin mo? Like, I don't know. If you're 16 years old, 18 years old, how would you know? My view on this is that it's fine if you don't know what you want. Lucky for people who already figured out their entire life plan, no? Like, good for you. But for me personally, I was never one of those who had their entire life figured out. Di ko alam. I don't know what I'm doing. And instead of beating myself about it na, oh my god, di ko alam anong gusto ko, I just took it as an opportunity to explore. And the good thing with exploring is that when you constantly try new things, even if you don't know what you want, you can at least figure out what you don't like. And by cross-elimination, you can get closer to finding something that you actually like. So for fresh grads, but also for people in general, it's not a bad idea to explore and experiment. Follow your curiosities and interests. There's no shame in being lost and not knowing everything kaagad. You'll figure it out eventually. What are you currently working towards right now?
My personal goal is to visit 81 provinces of the Philippines by May next year. My long-term goal is to visit 197 countries. I decided that before seeing other countries, I wanted to fully experience my own. I've been to 33 so far.
You like suddenly one day wake up and like, oh, I want to visit 81 provinces.
A year into Grocery, and halfway through the pandemic, I started to really think about what I wanted to do in life. I decided to search first on the internet questions that could help me decide what I want to do in life. I ended up with 35 questions. I answered one a day. I think an hour per question. Through that process, it really connected me to what I enjoy doing. I realized I really love traveling. It allows me to meet people, to see things that I would not otherwise see. It's hard for me to put into words what I enjoy so much, because other people love it too, but then it just really excites me. And I felt that excitement was enough for me to make it into a real project.
It's like you don't really need that much of a justification. It's fun. Yun lang, it's fun. That's why I do it. Sometimes the only reason you need to try doing something is that you find it exciting. A lot of times we get scared of trying new things out for a lot of valid reasons. Like, gusto naman natin siyang itry, but because we weren't brave enough, we end up not trying it at all. Personally, whenever I've felt kabado or some level of fear when I'm about to try something new, I do my best to push past it. And more often than not, I get a lot of fulfillment from getting over the initial fear and actually being able to try out what I wanted to do, regardless of the outcome kung naging successful ako or not. My excitement outweighed my initial fear and I just went for it. Life is too short. It's crazy what you can achieve now when you push past the initial fear that you feel whenever you're about to try something new. And as fresh grads, for sure, ang daming new things and uncertainties that you'll constantly encounter as you move through life. So it's a good exercise na rin to just go for it. When you encounter things that make you kind of uncomfortable, that are outside of your comfort zone, when you're successfully able to push yourself to do something, then that's how you really grow as a person.
Do you usually travel alone?
Normally I travel with friends. Since I've decided to visit 81 provinces, I've done solo travel. I've traveled more with my family. So earlier today, Nicole mentioned that she would be coming with me to some. I'm not really particular. I guess that helps because I know I'm going to do it regardless of who I'm with or what's happening to me.
Cool. And then itong 31 countries, it just all happened in the past, ever since you started,
no,
or
that's
just like
lifetime.
since before, like lifetime?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought like you were able to travel 31 in that span of time. I was like, what? No way.
Still balancing like a full-time job after also. At least for now, the traveling is a side thing.
Right. But the goal is to make it a full-time thing.
Exactly.
I already found it cool that Atom had this type of life goal, but what I found even cooler was his intentionality and seriousness in achieving this goal. It's not just, oh, I want to travel, but no, he has a plan on how to make this goal happen. Like, he explained to me all the considerations and steps that he thought about in order to be able to travel as much as he wants, aligned to his goal, without being careless and carefree. Intentional talaga, which is something that I admired. And one intentional thing that you guys could do is to protect yourself with the VPN, especially when you're traveling like Atom, or in general when you're just out and about. If you use public Wi-Fi a lot, it's really important to secure your internet connection, especially when you're browsing online, to keep yourself and your personal data safe from malware and suspicious trackers. Because it's public, you know, like it's sketchy stuff. You never know what's tracking you. Ako, I personally use a VPN whenever I go out so that when I log into my social media platforms or especially banking apps, I know that I'll be safe because my internet connection is encrypted. And also, sometimes there are shows I want to watch on Netflix or similar streaming platforms, but they're not available here in the Philippines, so I can just use NordVPN to change my virtual location, and then boom, I can watch shows available only in Japan, France, but are not available here. Hacks. Get your exclusive NordVPN deal in the link in the description below, and you'll get 4 months free, and it's also risk-free thanks to their money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied with it. Thank you NordVPN for sponsoring this video.
But in my head, if I really want to take this 197 country seriously, there are 4 things that I was considering. So first is I had to have the time to do it. Second is I had to have the money to do it. Third is I had to be healthy enough to be able to go to all these countries.
Right.
Fourth was considering my family. My family now and my future family. So I want to still settle down and have a family. Considering those factors, I realized that I'd have to travel before I turn 30 to 33. Anything beyond that, in terms of health and family, is too uncertain for me. I'd have to travel within the next 5 to 8 years. The next 2 factors, time and money, means that I need to be earning enough to sustain my travel in a way that is not confined to my physical presence. So I have to be earning money without me being physically present.
Right.
That immediately eliminates any form of 9-to-5 job. What I'm working towards now is that increasing or exploring different income streams that allow me to earn while I travel. That's actually why we met Nicole.
He also started a newsletter called Atomic Travels, where he shares his learnings and experiences during his travels. So if you guys are interested in following his journey, I'll include the sign-up link in the description. This is me supporting him. Go Ato! It made me realize that Atom and I had similar approaches when it comes to working towards our goals. I've talked about this in a couple of videos, but I'm pretty systematic in the way I want to work towards the things I want to achieve. I really make it a point to ask myself, okay, so if this is where I want to be, and this is where I'm starting from, how do I close this gap? How do I get what I want? Now, what are the things I need to do day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, so that I have higher chances of success in being able to reach where I want to go? You just really need an action plan, and then you need to execute that plan with intentionality and consistency. People's goals are different, but the general process of being able to achieve them is more or less cross-applicable.
What advice would you give to a fresh graduate?
I would advise taking 3 to 6 months off with no plans. That's for, I think, 3 factors. So the first factor is you're going to be working for the next 30, 40 years, so you might as well enjoy. Second is you excel best at the things you enjoy, so you might as well leave some room to explore what you enjoy. And so if you enter a job for the pay, but you don't necessarily enjoy, you will find yourself moving to a different job or a different industry. And that time could be saved within those 3 to 6 months that you save for yourself. And then third is you want to make a decision based on what you want and not the people around you.
Right. I like that. Because like usually you
So-
make poor decisions if you're in a rush. So like I think it's really helpful. Like at least like a
Yes.
3 month, even like a 1 month, not pause, 1 to 2 months. Because you've been studying for like how many years? Like even from nursery, kinder, elementary, high school. It's all about getting to
Your entire
college.
life has been following this path that people set for you. Personally, I was so lucky that the pandemic hit. I mean, it was difficult, but the amount of personal space it gave me was really invaluable. Like if the pandemic never happened, I would have for surely jumped into a job, the first high-paying job I found. So I was lucky that this gave me time. One thing I did during the pandemic was I tried to learn one thing every month. So that allowed me to explore different things, understand what I didn't enjoy, what I enjoyed. It's how I discovered writing, traveling, calisthenics, and other things.
Right.
I super recommend just taking that 3 to 6 months off.
Like most people I talk to, like that's the biggest advice that you give. Like take a break. Like if you really, if you don't super need it, no. Like I understand a lot of people just
Yeah, okay, I understand. For some, there might be like a financial pressure
For
to
sure.
earn money, right? I guess you just have to be honest with yourself if that's something that you really need or something you're imposing upon yourself. I think there's this I don't know, personal expectation to be independent.
right.
The reality is your parents have supported you for the past 20 years and they will not stop doing that. So you might as well maximize that support they're giving you. They're there preparing that safety net for you. And so you might as well use it to find what you love.
Yeah, gets.
I know that being able to take a break is a privilege in itself, and it's not something that a lot of people have the luxury of being able to do. I was debating on whether or not I should cut off this part of the interview because I was worried that people get triggered. Like, oh, sana all, lahat supported ng parents, lahat may safety net. Rawr. Atom is speaking in terms of his experience and what he believes to be helpful advice to people. But since we talk about personal finance on this channel, I think this sheds light on how important it is to consider finances when starting a family and planning to have and raise children. Because the ideal would be to have more people like Atom, whose families are able to fully provide and give their children safety nets to be able to explore what they want. But unfortunately, this isn't the case. A lot of children, especially breadwinners, suffer immense financial pressure as a result of improper family planning. Like, madali lang magkaanak, pero mahal magpalaki ng anak. And I think it's important to advocate for financial literacy in this aspect, so that hopefully we can move towards an ideal of having more families being ready and capable of providing a life of love and comfort for their children. For me, I acknowledge that I come with a level of privilege. That's why I'm able to explore and take calculated risks with my post-grad plans. I don't want to be tone deaf sa realidad ng buhay. Alam ko mahirap talaga. So take this video and this entire series with a grain of salt. Just extract the helpful advice that's applicable to your own lifestyle. Be nice in the comment section because I know that people can get triggered by this.
What's one big thing you've learned since you graduated?
I can think of 3 things.
Okay, Jigo.
The first is to give more. I'm a naturally selfish person. I was always obsessed with taking more for myself, protecting what I had. So for example, I felt like I had to be fit and big, put on muscle and everything to look good. So I would always make sure I got as much food from the table as I could, irrespective of who else has eaten. If there was like a balikbayan box that came, I would always make sure I was the first to go through everything to make sure I got the best stuff. So I was always obsessed with taking more for myself. And I realized this was hurting, like it was causing me more suffering and the people around me more suffering. So I tried an experiment, give 1 gift a month. And I felt so much happier during that period. Not only was I feeling better, but I was making the people around me feel better. I realized when you give more, you start to receive more. Of course, that's not the main intention for giving, but then everything I've given has come back to me like tenfold. it will always come back. Second is to know your intentions behind what you're doing, why you are doing what you're doing. So from my experience, it's either motivated by love or fear. And I would say it's a spectrum. You can be both motivated by both love and fear, but there will always be one that's stronger than the other. I would assume that with you, Nicole, you started doing this YouTube business, that's the way you call it, but then you started doing it because you actually love learning about, I don't know, personal finance. You love making videos. And then your viewers probably saw that passion in you. And so it grew. In my case, majority of my life has been driven by fear. Like, I've always been afraid that I didn't have enough. So I would study hard because I was afraid that if I didn't get good grades, I wouldn't get the respect of my family. I was afraid that if I didn't work out and eat a lot, I wouldn't get big. And my friends wouldn't respect me. I wouldn't make friends. I wouldn't have, like, girlfriends to drink with or something because I was too skinny. I was afraid that if if I didn't get a high-paying job, then my education would have been worthless, and I wouldn't amount to anything in the future. So it was all driven by fear. And when I noticed that fear works great in the short run, but it always self-destructs in the long run because you get attached with the action. I was afraid that I wouldn't get respect, right? I studied hard to get honors, and I got my respect. The problem is your respect is then attached to that honor.
It's conditional.
And so when you get out, your respect is also taken out. I guess fear naturally is dependent on external feedback, external opinions of yourself. Whereas love is something driven inside. It's something you would do regardless of what people thought about you. Before, I would be working out because I was afraid. And if I'd skipped the workout day, I would be so guilty. There was this one morning I scheduled to work out. That same morning, my aunt was rushed to the hospital. My mom asked me to accompany her, but I said no, I had to work out. Like, I chose to stay home and work out instead of go with my family because I was so afraid that if I did not work out, I would lose everything I've gained. It becomes so twisted when you realize that your motivations, although it may look good on the outside, I mean, other people will be like, oh wow, you're working out every day. But deep down, you know that it's gonna start eating up on you. Whereas now, I'm working out because I actually enjoy it. For one, it's freed me. I don't mind skipping a workout day. And the second is I feel stronger, better, healthier. My relationship with working out is better. And I have an internal drive to keep doing it. Wow, this answer is a lot longer than I expected.
That's good. That's all right.
But, okay,
First, second,
so I guess
third.
be intentional.
Third.
The third is that you learn something new every day. So every night I have this journal. Actually, I was just doing it before coming to you. But then
Same.
I write
Same. I was writing my
I don't
journal.
know what I learned during the day. Yesterday, I learned that you could make scrambled eggs with just egg white. So it can be as shallow as that, but it can be deeper. Like, the price of growth is outgrowing people. Your friends' impact fast you compound. Yeah.
Wow. I like that.
So, I made myself more sensitive to the things I was learning. Every experience I take, win or lose, I make sure to see what I've learned from it.
Right.
And over time, I've seen that my learnings have started to compound. I can remember what I learned, and what I learned adds on to what I've learned.
Those are great, but one more. Is there anything else you wanna say? Ending thoughts.
We could do a part 2 if you want, but then I'm okay.
I'm honestly enjoying rewatching these conversations while I was editing it for you guys. This is more of an experimental upload, but I hope that you guys are enjoying and also learning new things. Atom's a cool person, diba? Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.